Welcome to a very special Neptune's Pride 32-player custom game created by Kaine. Um, it's on a circular world or galaxy, and let's take a quick look at some of the custom settings. Well, and actually, the words that he used here to describe and kind of the intent that he had for it. So it's designed to speed up the start, lengthen the middle, and encourage highly tactical battles while needing to keep an eye on the tempting center. Victory is never certain until the final star falls. The winner will be awarded a Master Strategist badge by Kaine. So the reason he says that is, well, let's look at the custom settings. So first of all, you need 66% of all the stars, which is more than most. They're sparse natural resources. You start with 4, but you start with 1,000 credits and 50 ships, which is a lot more than normal. You start with your home world with 20 economy, 10 industry, 4 science. So you're starting, and then all of your tech starts level 3. So you're starting kind of a little bit further in than you typically would be. The other very important little thing is terraforming is very expensive, manufacturing is very expensive, and weapons are very expensive. So the 3 core techs are very expensive. And so when we look to see what that means, we're talking about I added a couple of science, so it'll take me 2 days to get range, for example. But if I wanted to go terraforming, it'd take me 6 days. So it's 3 times the cost. And so for me, I think I'm going to start with the range to get one of these techs sooner. And so here's where I start. Let's go through again. I've never played one of these, and I'm assuming you're going to need to be friends at least initially with both of your neighbors to trade in tech, but at some point you need to attack. My neighbor to my south is Thing 1 and Thing 2. To my north is One Blue. So I think I've played with both of them before. Um, and I think in between the two of them, Thing 1 and 2 is a stronger player. But we'll see how willing they are to work with me. First thing that I did, and luckily I caught this the very first hour, I was able to really redistribute my pathing to get established as far as possible. So to the north, basically what I did is I went to the quickest route to get to establish a northern border. So in 1 day, basically 25 hours. And for him, if you look the way that he has to go, um, he could cut straight here, but I'm hoping he doesn't. But I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna send 49 ships up here. I'm gonna go ahead and send a few out this way. And what I'm gonna do is, if I can get here, then this is gonna require range 4, which is why since I'm starting with range 3, if I can get up here with my range 4, I can get this whole cluster uncontested. So it's really important for me to get down to this star and get this entire cluster for myself, which means I need to coordinate with Thing. And what I want to do there is I want to at least get these two, which I should be able to. This star here that I'm sending 49, it's going to take me 16 hours to get to there. For him, it will also take 16 hours if he goes straight. If he makes a path from here to here, then I'll get there first. And so if you look, he's 5.232. Okay, 5, and I'm 5.3, 5.3. So he gets there first. He gets a defensive bonus. He wins that star. So but I'm sending 49 of my 50 ships. So I did send him a note. Oh, he replied. He is Thing 1. I'm interested in the ally. I believe we have a relatively weak starting position, no real shot of rushing mid without range 5. I'm just going to research range, I think. My friend called me and said to ally with you. One Blue is also a strong player. Those guys doesn't know. Okay. I think I get that, and that, and that. That's fair. I was targeting these two. And you get that. Okay. Already happy with, yes. Okay. So, well, you don't have to watch me type, but here. Perfect. I'd like to get to here to get the cluster there. I Also plan to start range 4 to get to that cluster. I'm good with the division you stated. So let's see. I think I have some other. Did I have some other messages? Oh, that was events. One blue. Yes, I sent the same message same time, of course. Did you guys making the first sentence complete? Okay, I don't know what that means. Hopefully we do not have to utilize a sector intelligence in initiating a fierce friction. Would you consider a border? And, yeah, so let's, yeah, of course. So good. I'm going to tell you right now, I want to work with things, but I also really want to get this cluster here. So if I just get these 2 stars and this, then I'm good, and he can deal with all that. Another thing that's going to be tricky on this is how do we help our allies out? Right? We're going to have to give each other a path through it. This is going to be interesting. So a quick run through of the neighbors around me, right? So if you go to my north, we'll just go around the loop. One blue, I know a little bit. I don't know that player. Braveyard, I know, and he's competent. Target range, don't know. Don't know. Captain Morgan I just played with. He is competent. Steely Phil is a good player. Zane, don't know. Don't know. Don't know. Crasso, I do know. Allied with him. He's a strong player. Don't know. Don't know. Don't know. Now we're on the opposite side. Kaine, I know. He's a very, very strong player, as is Dr. Gert, very strong player. The fact that they're next to each other is frightening. Calling right now that they're end game boss for me. If I make it that far, don't know. Don't know. No, not afraid of him. Mr. Lethal Blood, competent player, just got 3rd in the game with Kaine. Don't know. Some of these people could have just changed their names, right? They could be sneaky. I think he's decent. Eborg's decent. Pyro Dre is exceptionally good. Nat 20 exceptionally good. These 2 starting next to each other is frightening as well, and they're actually closer to me. But I don't think I can connect with them right away. But don't know him. I know Vjo's pretty good too. I don't know him. So yeah, that's the starting map. Let's see what happens. Cycle 1. We've had a few more conversations in the last 20 hours, and here's where my head's at. I thought originally that I would want to team with Nat, Pyro, and Thing 1 and 2, but most immediately with Thing 1 and 2. And the problem with that is, when I spoke with him, he basically said he wants to get all the stuff to the east, and he wants to get this big cluster behind me. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. So I said, okay, that would give me 9 stars, and you would have 12 stars. Actually, no, it was worse. This was my adjustment. I came back and basically said, if I get the ones behind there, you're going to get all these plus this row in front of you. So, I tried to be fair. I tried to work with him. And then he says, I'll give you my clusters to my west. So basically, which are 3 stars more than I was going to get. So I was going to always get these 2. Basically, instead of getting all these stars, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stars, I can have these 3. So with that, I'm like, I'm not happy with that. That's not cool. And I know he's a strong player. I also know that he was going to flip on Kaine in the last game I played with him to try to get first when he was otherwise going to get second or third. And so I don't trust him. He's being selfish, and I know I am too, but it's hard to have 2 people being selfish. That's where people kind of butt heads. So I feel like I'm going to butt heads with him. And he said he already coordinated with Vjo to the south, and they're going to be doing a joint effort to collapse on the Master Debater. And so Master Debater reached out to me and sent me a picture showing that basically 200 ships are coming down, and he knows he's going to be attacked from Thing 1 and 2. And he's got a terrible starting position. So he's in trouble. I think it's in my best interest, therefore, to not team with Thing 1 and Thing 2 because A, I don't trust him. B, he's being selfish and wants to get all the good stars. And so I'm gonna just attack him. And so that's the plan. And I think with the one blue to my north, I think we're gonna have a fine relationship up here. Basically, I told him I'm gonna get this star. He can go get all these stars, and that'll be our border. Hopefully, he'll be peaceful. If he attacks me, I'll be in trouble. But but yeah, so that's the plan. I'm gonna go in. I did just get terraforming, which is not great. But yeah, so here's Master Debater basically saying he got the banking proc. He's researching banking, and I I told him I'm having actually a good conversation with him. So I feel pretty good about working with the Master Debater. Let's see what other one blue. Well, that would be the plan, yes, but I can't set in stone. What about you? Will you try to attack thing one and two? I have good relations with Fair, so I haven't to worry about the borders and could help you. As far as research, what text you're doing, I'm researching experiments at the moment. All right, perfect. So, so yeah, I want to get good with one blue. I don't want him to come and help me. That is way too long. So yeah, I don't want that. Um, yeah, I don't want that. So I don't want him taking my stars, and I don't think I need it because thing 1-2 is going to weaken himself blowing up against the Master Debater. And then down here, um, yeah, and there. Notice thing 1 and 2 has not replied to this thread, so I don't think that he's on board anyway. Um, so we're just going to take care of some business. That's the plan. We are in cycle number 2. I was fortunate enough to hit a range proc overnight, and I am now at range 2. My northern partner, one blue, hit experiment proc, and now we swapped, so we both have experiments and range. So it left it off with, you know, dealing with the master debater and thing 1 and thing 2, and it got out to thing 1 and thing 2 that I don't bring ships to help. What's the least disruptive path? Which clearly was a lie. It was just kind of by myself a little bit, probably a few hours, maybe. And he says, "Hey, I think you're going to stab me, but if you aren't, I don't need help." Which I'm like, "Of course you don't." Um, so, and then he's like, "Look, I don't think you can afford to attack me. Reorgs can hold off Nat 20 for plenty of time. Master Debater has 200 ships left, and Vijo and I will finish him off. And Vijo's already making plans for coming down and helping me fight you. One blue seems perfectly willing to attack you as long as there's somebody is with him. I urge you to reconsider your plans that only screws the two of us." Master Debater simply falls too quickly, and then Bijo comes up here and beats the crap out of you at my expense. So I'm like, all right, show me the message. And you may be right, but I trust one blue more than I trust him, and that's just the truth. And I said last time why. Um, that I just don't trust him this game. Maybe the next one. So it's not a long-term thing, but just for now. And he said he'll get the screenshot from Dr. Gert. Um, I'd like to see what he wrote. But I told him, like, listen, I'm committed. Live or die. This was my decision. So maybe it's stupid. Don't know. But maybe one blue's tricking me. Don't know. But here's what I'm gonna do. He sent a bunch of ships up this way, and he's coming back. I just left one, and we're gonna see if he honors it. We traded tech, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's on board. I'm gonna keep about 50 ships right here just in case, and he would get one, but nothing more than that. And then I know I have a problem up north. So this is going to be all that I keep here for now. If I see anything else coming this way, there would be no reason to do that, and then I'll also know. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that that works out. Because if it does, that means the rest of my focus can be on the south. Now, boom, 300, 500. He lost 200 ships on the attack down here on Master Debater, who is in a bind. But the problem is it's so much easier to defend. It's easier to defend, and I'm about to take this the star, which I am quite anxious to, because I have range 2, and he just took this star. I would be able to get up and get this beautiful, beautiful cluster that I really, really want. Um, what I need to do, and so that's going to be one of my priorities. And the problem is I'm not going to see, I don't know how many ships he sent that way. In theory, he wouldn't need to send that many. In theory, he would only need to send one. So I could explode right here. If he left, like, if he sent 50 and just left 50 and just sent one, that could be. But if he didn't, if he just sent a small amount of ships this way, and I'm able to get up in this cluster, this is going to make me pretty strong. And he has no way because thing one and thing two went to banking first, which is a great decision, but not helping you get in this cluster that I'm not going to give you range on. So that's the first thing, this little area over here. I guess that's the second thing. One blue is the first thing. Down here's the second thing. The third is this front. So these are the stars that I was already en route with. I've got the 122, the 115. I'm going to be hitting thing one and thing two on this nice juicy star here. What is this? 20. It's only 20. Oh no, 43 natural resources. I'm liking that. That's going to be my new home base. We're going to rename it Graymason's New Home. I'm also going to take a smaller amount, these 69. He just built some more industry. If you look, he did pump up. He's got 4 more industry than me. I pumped up a little more science. And because I switched now to weapons, I'm assuming he did too. And I want to get there first. So if we look at where we're at on the research chart, I'm at 10, so 3 days, 3.5 days, still a long way out without a proc, but got to do it. But I'm going to get another science here, take another science away from him, another 3 industry away from him to me. I'm going to go ahead and I should be able to secure this and this. And then I'm going to also from here get great vision to this whole infrastructure and see what's happening. So I should absolutely be able to capture these 2 stars. This one depends on how forward thinking he was. If he thought we were friends and we wouldn't need it, then I'm in good shape. And I specifically waited like 5 extra hours to make sure he moved off of this star because I was also hidden. He had no idea what was there. So I moved off, and it wouldn't have given him time to come up. So really curious if I can screw him here and get this chain. He told me before these 3 are all bad. So in theory, my ship can get all of those. And if I was able then to also sneak down and actually get here in range, then we could sync up on, I could get banking, give him some tech, get weapons and terraforming swapped. He said he's going to work on terraforming. So that's the plan. Vijo may come up and kill me. One blue may come down and kill me. Hell, thing 1, thing 2 may fend me off and kill me. But that's part of the game. Cycle 3. Let's do a deep dive how things are progressing. First of all, I feel very confident that I've now secured a 3-player alliance with myself, with one blue who was threatening to attack early. Understandably, I was thinking about attacking him, but when there's terraforming, he needs to send that my way. I already paid him. And Braveyard. So those 3 of us have a plan. Braveyard will go north, I'll go south, one blue will go into the middle, and he's working on range. I also have an arrangement with the Master Debater, who I plan to keep as best I can. But he's getting attacked by both Vijo as well as Thing 1 and 2. So I can't help him against Vijo, but I am helping against Thing 1 and 2. And you can see from the last video, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get through this point, and I wasn't sure what I was going to face when I hit there, so I had to send everything. As it turns out, he had nothing there. But I just didn't know it, so I needed to secure it. And what was so important is because now that I have that secure, I get these 6 stars, completely uncontested, and I can grow. It'll be completely safe from attack, so I could really bolster them with science and economy as a priority without any fear of anyone sniping them for quite a while. Now, into the kind of the knife fighting part of this, I was able to secure this star. I was able to secure this star and this star. So then I was able to come down here and get these. So if you scoot back from where we're at on the map, I got quite a bit of his territory. Now, I am going to lose, and it's hard because it's orange on orange. He did send 139. He sent them from down south from this Yilden up, and he's going to retake thing 1 and 2 most certainly, but they're not great stars. And what I'm doing then, instead of trying to just fight, I only had 11. I only had 11 ships, but I can basically I just left one back just to do maximum efficiency damage, and I should be able to take this last baton. And then that'll also give me vision down here. And and I think Master Debater told me he told me that this star is going to get blown up. These 57 will get blown up. So I know I won't be in range, but if he's able to reclaim, he thinks he will ultimately be able to get those two, and then I would be in range to trade with him. And right now he does have the bank that I would like, and I'll have terraforming and experiments in range, and I'm working on weapons. So that being said, he thinks he can hold off unless Vijo gets weapons too soon. But like I said, so what we have these 50 coming up to attack, these 60 that were my northern defense when I wasn't sure if one blue was on side. So it's another 110 coming to join the battle, in addition to the stream I have of troops from the north. I haven't spent my money. It's 8 hours into the cycle. I'm waiting for that terraforming to come in because it's so critical to stage this early on. But hopefully I get it soon. But yeah, so the plan now is I have this 142 that's about to land right next to him. I should land, and then I'll get full vision here, and so in 2 hours and 3 minutes, I'll get a good sense of what to do with these two. I would love to get his homeworld. I know that's not going to happen. So if I can just do maximum damage, I'll bring these 107 to defend against these guys. Yeah, I want to keep these 140 from doing any damage, and I want to maximize picking off these little stars as best I can. So it's still looking good, unless something crazy happens. Like in Vijo, even if he gets weapons, he's not. There's no way he could give that to Thing. And I've been really crippling Thing's science. So, and I started on it when he was finishing banking. So my 2 days and 4 hours is well before any time he could get it, unless he got really lucky with experiment procs on weapons. So that's where we're at. I'm feeling good. Oh, one other really important thing here I want to show you. So, there was, the question, the kind of the vindication of was this a good move or not? And you can see here that Graymason backstabbed me without provocation, shrugs. What can I do? Just the kind of player he is. I told him I'm a monster. But Dr. Gert already ratted him out, that he said he was already planning to stab me later, so we're kind of both that type, aren't we? I'm just better. And I says, damn it, LOL busted. I planned on doing it later game, truth be told, with Vijo helping. Call it even after this game, no harm, no foul. Yeah, so just to be clear, I had that spider sense tingling when he was really fishy about me getting these that made sense for me to get. The way he communicated, and then the way that he made plans with Vijo on a third player and not keeping me in the loop, I didn't feel like I was on the inner circle. And so that was where even though I wanted to originally side with Thing 1, Thing 2, I'm like, yeah, I don't trust him. And my spider sense was correct. And you just got to stab the stabber before they stab you. And I did. And I would say right now this looks like winning. Cycle 4, we are looking good. So zooming back into our about 3 o'clock position. Continue to have good relationships with the north. I feel like we actually may have a relationship here. I got my terraforming, and these two have worked on Veritas, and that's kind of the first mission for them. I guess I do need to be mindful once he's gone, will one blue turn on me? It's possible, but we're hoping not, because he's working on range to try to get out and push to the center. For my situation, the great news is, look at some of these stars. Oh, they're beautiful. We have a 48 resource star that we're about to get. We just got a 46. I saved some money this cycle to buff these up. So this is going to be a huge boost into the midst. And I know orange is hard to see, but these stars here, like so this down, are not mine. I built 2 warp gates, so for between my home and thing 6, just to get my ships into action faster. I really, really, really want to make sure I get this homeworld done, because once that falls, it's really the rest of him will fall quickly. Um, Master Debater did a really nice job. He was able to take advantage of my pushing and grab these 2 stars, and he's actually going to get a third. And it was just funny. My gut reaction: don't take those. Those are my stars. That being said, the only reason I was able to do any of this is because he absorbed all the like 200 initial ships that got me ahead. So I just have to keep reminding myself of that. But I've very much securely captured all to the west. I had this temporarily, and I had a kind of just tactical decision to make, and I decided to push out because I think he's got 9 industry between these three, and he only had 40 ships from my calculations at the time. And so I should be able to take this and probably one of these two. He's following me up. Um, and we'll see what happens from there. What he doesn't know is in 1 hour I finish weapons. And remember, weapons takes a lot more in this mode to get. So I should be able to get this. So this is 7 hours away. In 7 hours, he'll do 7 times 12, which is 84. So let's just say 9. He'll be 9. So he'll be at 40. Doing a quick calculator here, he'll be defending with 40, and he probably thinks the fight's going to go like this. He wins by 1. The problem is I'm going to have this, and I win by 16. So I'm going to go ahead and capture the star. There was no way he could have known I was going to get that, but that is actually a really, really good timing for me. So I'm pushing in with these, and then I'm timing up this to launch to both land there. They'll arrive in, I think, 9 ticks, yeah. And so I'll have the 60, I'll have 180 landing here. He could defend it. He could counter punch, but again, I've got 127 on the coming and another 111 arriving in just 3 hours, which is so much faster than he can reinforce. So at this point, what I hope doesn't happen is I just kind of hope the Master Debater doesn't go and grab like a bunch more stars. I kind of want him to stop, and then I need to figure out, do I just to go ahead and kill Master Debater now, and then go kill Vijo, and then go kill Reorcs, and connect with Nat. I might do that, and I may not give weapons to these guys. I've been really good with Master Debater, but I definitely don't want to fight these guys. And if I don't fight him, I could push out, but yeah, yeah. If I get this star, so we'll see how it goes. But that's the dilemma. There's just not a lot of places to grow, and I need to grow. So we'll see what I do. Cycle 5, huge day. You can see I just shot up on the leaderboard, but more importantly, I broke thing 1 and 2. Little recap, I was able to go ahead and grab toe, and if we just kind of go back in time a little bit, you can see actually there's been a lot of action here. When I landed with my 100 ships, he had 42, and then I was able to, so I was beaten on his doorstep. He quit for some reason. Don't know what's going on in that part of the world. But then I was able to capture things doorstep, and then I was able to capture Old Clegg. Now, one thing that he did, he double warp gated these 2 stars, and then I already had a guy in flight, so he was going to land in 2 hours. It would have taken me 3. So I just warp gated thing 69, and I got there first and blew him up. So that was kind of a big. It doesn't look like a lot, but it was. It was controlling that star was really important. And then I lost the doorstep again, so we were kind of battling back and forth in this little territory, and then I was able to defend off because he had a counter push going there. I was able to defend that off with my warp gate trickery. just kind of teaching the new guy a couple of tricks. He had launched 97 ships at me that I was able to absorb. I didn't have a lot left over, and but then he launched his. All he's got left now are these two and this one. So I'm launching on here. I'll take that out, and these are like a 5 and a 6 industry. So he probably thinks he's going to get that, and if this is warp gated, he will. But if not, I'm going to get there and defend it in time. Um, but yeah, and then when I had my masses, and this is where my warp gate got my ships into position, he flat out left. So, thing if you're watching this, never leave it completely undefended. I get it for free. Leave one ship. It's the most cost-effective way to impact the enemy. Like one ship, if weapons four, I think would blow up 4 of my ships for 1 of yours. So it's a good trade for you. Zane quit. Don't know what happened. He was like the leaderboard, top of the leaderboard for a while, and then the big daddy. I was able to capture it with 2 left over, and this is crippling for him to lose, and it's really game over. So now at this point, I still have more reinforcements coming in. I'm not going to leave this undefended by any stretch. That puppy's too valuable, and yeah. So the tactical knife fighting ends. At this point now, I'm going to just send everything down to take these 2 stars because, and I have range 5 now. One of these. Oh yeah, once I get here, I'll be able to reach here. And these are the 2 stars that Master Debater said I could take to get down and help. I think I am going to stick with him. Um, we just communicate really well, and it does make sense for 2 of these to go north and then 2 of us to go south. And really, my test for him was, okay, give me a path. I suggested going this way, but he came back with, no, why don't I need a path to the middle too. Why don't you go here? I'll give up these 2 stars, which I'm totally fine with. So yeah, he seems like someone I can work with, and it would be better for us to work together. Um, One person against 1 or 2 isn't going to be really hard. So um, that's really strong. And beyond that, I'm almost done capturing the last star here. These are some really nice stars I got. And then because of range 5, I'm going to get this little stretch going into the middle. So this entire section, all this orange is going to be mine. And when you zoom out, that's going to be a pretty big chunk. I'll come along the outside, work on him. Maybe I get these. I mean, by all rights, those should be the Master Debater stars. We'll see if he lets me get them or not. And then I think the 2 of us push this way while they push that way, and we'll see if we need to adjust. Beginning of cycle 7. Again, still looking good on the leaderboard. Let's go into where we're at. It's a little slow moving now. We have basically gone ahead and we made our warp gate highway. We finished getting our infrastructure built up in this cluster. We're moving out here in this cluster. Some decent stars. Continuing with the plan to move down to deal with Vijo. Vijo is inheriting some stars from Reorx. Reorx was getting killed by Nat 20 and said, go ahead, Vijo, and take our stars. So in the next couple of days, Master Debater and I will start working on Vijo, and then we'll be head to head with Nat 20. So here's the question. I know Pyro Dre, and I know Nat 20. I've played and allied with them. I fought against them. I know they're both good players, and so we had a thread about, hey, we should ally up. But then what interesting thing happened is, so Nat 20 is like, hey, let's go ahead and do this. This is my understanding, but I kind of didn't want to tip my hand all that much. And so I admitted it's a tricky map. And I kind of downplayed my relationship. I said, hey, One Blue and I are trading, so we're kind of a target. I kind of want to see what the state of the board is. So I tried to be a little bit vague. And then he immediately kind of picked up on my hesitancy because before I was like all gung-ho. And so it's probably a mistake on my part where he's like, hey, Vijo told me you're working with Master Debater. And I said, yeah, we're working together. And I talked a little bit about it, and here's my take on this, that I don't want to alienate anybody. I just want one enemy at a time. But I don't know how, and so I put it out there. I don't know how long I can trust him. And I said, my misreading. He said, I see that. And then he's like, oh, are you working with Braveyard and One Blue as well? And I said, yeah, super messy. And so basically, I felt like I was getting interrogated. And so I'm like, yeah, this is super messy. And I said, well, you're attacking, here's what I see. And I said, my relationship with my neighbors is basically the same as you with your neighbors, because he's also downplaying, saying he's just allied with Pyro Dre, and that these, Eborg and Eon 6T and Bony Boy, that they're all just non-aggression pact trading partners. So in the interim, then Master Debater, yeah, he's I'm totally good with you. I'm in the best position I could have been given the starting position in politics. As I said before, I'm having a blast. Yeah. So here's what this guy, and he is a sneaky player. I'm a little nervous of him, but I'm going to go with it. Basically, he said, here's his plan. For a few days, oh, that's not the point. He's going to talk with Nat 20, saying you want a safe way to the south, and asking for those 2 stars, which I already said those are the 2 stars that we already agreed to. I'll tell Nat 20 that I'm letting you down until we are face to face with him. I'll be playing as double agent, telling him that Graymason, One Blue, and Braveyard seem to be in an alliance, but they're not including me in any conversation, so I don't see any future there. I will offer my help to Nat 20 to fight you, and will tell him that I will be backstabbing you when the time comes. And this, by the way, scares the crap out of me, because sometimes that becomes a reality. In order for him to trust me, I will feed a little information here and there to keep him updated on your ship's movement going through. This is fine. I think this is a better plan than me fighting directly with him. But everything aside, if I see a good opportunity, I would take my chance. Of course, you can ask, how can I trust you? But basically saying he's having a good time. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I said, I'm with you on the plan. And so here was my moment of truth. And if you're watching this, Nat 20, here's why I'm going to not work with you this game. And it's just this game. But this is a different map. I asked you, have you heard from my neighbors regarding their intentions? Master Debater just told me what his plan was, and he said, haven't heard from many people in this game. So basically, you denied hearing from the guy who just said, I'm going to reach out and say that you stabbed me. Well, maybe it's a timing thing, but if you don't come back and tell me that Master Debater plans on stabbing me, then, I'm not going to feel bad about attacking you full out. Now, if it's just a timing thing and you come back and tell me, then we'll see. But this is a little internal test you don't actually understand, because it's completely believable. Master Debater's story of him being frustrated that I got all of things stars and I'm keeping him excluded, very believable. So we'll see. We'll see what Nat 20 tells me, and that will tell me how much he's really on my side and how much he plans to not work with me. Because you gotta beat them at their own game. Cycle 8. Here we are in our cyclical game, and I think the big news here is we've continued to make our progress towards Vijo. We've launched on him now. So has Master Debater. I've just about acquired my whole launch path. We got enough range. I could reach him, and actually we're gonna go ahead, and because he cut this warp gate, we're gonna just go down here and kind of hit him at 2 separate fronts. I talked about Nat 20 teaming with Pyro Dre, but they didn't keep me in the loop. They weren't being kind of full disclosure on what they were hearing. And so I felt like, because they were together and they were clearly also allied with Eborg, and they were allied with Eonte 6, and they were allied with Bony Boy, I just feel like, and I don't think they were, and then Lethal Blood. So I've been talking to Lethal Blood saying, hey, why don't you guys attack now? We're attacking now. But you look on the map, Pyro Dre's making his way to the top. He's a great player, and I don't think he's going to be with me this game. we had a bunch of people up in the north quit. So so in the northern front, Braveyard said he's about to take the homeworld for target range. And then he should quickly move on and take this Giga Cretan. But then Captain Morgan, who's stuck on 7 stars, you have Steely Phil went AFK, and he was actually doing pretty good. You have Zane who quit. You have Auntie Nico who quit. So this whole section here is weak. So once he gets through this, Braveyard should be able to just take this whole cluster for himself and just be an absolute boss. What that does, though, is it leaves our one blue kind of like, what am I supposed to do? Because no one wants me. So he's making his way to the center. Over here, we'll have to see how things fortify, but I think we're going to probably end up with one big group on the east, with my foursome. We'll have this foursome here, and then we'll probably have Lethal Blood all the way up to Kaine. We may have Dr. Gert, that's frightening that they would group up together. And then if you add into that mix, Bellum, who I believe Bellum is Earth Force Alliance from my other game, who's good. And then you have Crasso, I believe, who's here. So there's a lot of strong players over in this Western Front, but we can't really worry too much about that for now. For now, I'm going to let my allies move into the center. We'll let Blood and Pyro Dre duke it out, and I'm just going to go and get all these stars back here, and just kind of munch my way around, keeping on the outside and work on this. So that's the plan. All right, we are in cycle 9. Taking a look here at the charts, I'm sitting good with Braveyard and one blue. Now, one blue got a little bit boxed in here and trying to push out, but Braveyard says he's making good progress, and then that's great around the north. One thing to note in the south, though, is we are up against a formidable team. Pyro Dre is very strong. Nat 20 is very strong. They're aligned with Vijo, who's a good player but just got a bad start. So this grouping, which I think also includes Eborg, that grouping is one alliance. And what I'm trying to do now is kill off Vijo and push into Nat. Now what's happening is what happens up here between Dre and Mr. Lethal Blood's going to be key, because if they fight each other, that would be my desire, so that they don't sweep up here and mess with me. But we'll have to see what happens. If we zoom into the fray, I'm about to, and they just hit weapons 5 to match me, but I'm about to blow up about 550. We'll do a quick math here. They're defending with 693. So they'll win with, that hurts a little bit, 213 left. But it is what it is. And then, just out of curiosity then, so if they have 693 and they have 213 left, okay, so I blow up 480. Wow, I got a 100 ship trade advantage. That sucks. Well, either way, they just last tick hit that, and in 6 hours my weapons will be done, and there's no way they'll get it before in the next 21 hours. So this should land with my weapons advantage. He only has 1900 minus the 500, this will be about 1500, and I've got 1600 heading in on him. So now granted, it's going to take 20 hours for this one, it's going to take a day and a half for that, but I should be able to do some damage and land on here and be able to make a push. I got some pictures. This is what Master Debater's running into. He's got Nat 20 coming up, and so he's going to have to fend this off coming through, and he sees that. Plus, he got this little tidbit from Vijo, so he got a better visibility. He basically traded with Vijo for my ship movement. Vijo's telling him that he is, I'll show you what he told me. He basically is telling him that I'm forcing him into this, which is not true at all. This is actually mostly his idea. So you can see here, um, they talk, and you can pause and read, but basically he's convincing Vijo that he's only attacking because I'm making him, and if I don't, I'll attack him, and so he doesn't have a choice. Um, and Yeah, so if you pause, if you want to actually read this, you can get a sense of the conversation. But yeah, that's where we're at. It'll be interesting to see the actions, how much he can hold here. I'm also gonna. He said he's the master debater. He's like, I can't fight here and here and here. He's too weak. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold ground here and push in and be able to meet up with Dre. So I have all of these stars routing this way, but then like the bulk of my stars coming in down to the south, and we'll see what happens once we get to the middle. So interesting map. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, click on the link for the next episode, and don't forget to click subscribe for more content.